It is Straight Talk Wireless 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our free bracket challenge. $2,000 winner take all. Enter today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. I know, Cody, that today we were talking about just how today was, and I feel very much so. I feel all of the angst over I'm just going to put my foot down and I'm not lifting until I see God of the checkered flag. That's how I feel today. I'm just going to put my foot down and make it to the finish line and see where we're at after that.
That is how I feel today. Probably why I don't really know why my camera disappeared there, but we're off to a great start so far, Rod. I would like to open the show issuing an apology to Josh Berry, Rod. I did not believe. I did not have any faith. I was absolutely fucking wrong. And congratulations to Josh Berry on his first career Cup Series win. You, longtime believer of Mr. Berry, and props to you for that. I'm right on some things, like Chase Briscoe so far, but not so much on the Josh Berry thing. Boy, I don't. Well, I would like to say I don't think anybody saw that coming, but we had a couple guys in the Discord before the race that were like, "What about Berry? Should we bet Berry at 100 to what?" Like, dude, these guys are great. That's why you got to be in the Discord. But yeah, I came out of nowhere really. But yeah, props to Josh Berry on picking up the Vegas win.
I just wish that I would have ran the car lift on him. I did definitely foresee a good day in his future. I saw a top 5 in his future, but I certainly did not see a win in his future. So very happy about Josh Berry. Definitely really saw the progression of it. And now, of course, over the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to see his odds get a little nuked because he's starting to be a little more consistent, but I'm still on it. Like I still want to see I still want to take Josh Berry for things. I don't think we're done with the Josh Berry train yet at all.
I noticed that you're not done with the Josh Berry train yet, Ross.
No, I am not. I'm going to ride that train until it completely bucks us. But Andrew checking in saying Reddick for the win. Don't think either one of us going to talk about him in this one, but
I want to, but
yeah, it doesn't look.
The number this week is not great.
Mm-hmm. Jessica checking in. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, Jessica. Good to see you there. Dirty Reg 22. I hit on Barry last on quite a bit of few. Lost on quite. Well, hit on Barry. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we didn't have the best week ever. That's certainly the case. But if you had Barry, that probably helped a lot of things. Cody checking in, Rod. He says if you see top 5s and top 10s while we're recording the show, to let us know. That's me because here we are, and we don't have top 5 or top 10s available to bet, even though I've got some loaded in the card, ready to go. I would just like confirmation on the numbers, but we'll talk about it when we get to it if we need to.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, and I said just before the show started too, so maybe they're listening. Maybe they know that we start this show right about 2:00 on the Pacific Coast, and they're like, if we wait till 3, then they won't cook us and they won't make us have to pay out a ton on Josh Berry over the course of next week.
We always find a way to get the people to picks anyways, Rod. So they're going to have to deal with us sooner or later.
Hey, that's what the Discord's for. That's what everything else is for out there. So speaking of big things happening in the next couple of hours, I guess, I'm not a big college basketball guy, but there are a lot of you out there.
Yes.
And you can compete against the SGPN this March in our $75,000 winner-take-all college basketball survivor contest. March has never been this exciting, not just because it's both of my Cody and my birthday month, but it's also because of this silly little bracket thing that they got going on. Enter now, splashsports.com/SGPN. That's splashsports.com/SGPN. That is, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Cody, I know you're a big guy. I don't know, big basketball.
I'm a big guy.
Big basketball
you really
guy.
could just left it at that.
Actually, that's the Survivor one. I'm sorry. This is Survivor's. Hi guys. Anyways, you're a big basketball guy. What do you take on this little tournament they got going?
Yeah, I do like college basketball from about March 1st to April when the tournament ends. It's really college basketball season, but I dive full on into it, and I got a bunch of stuff coming out for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Currently, I've been working on my article. I'm picking all the games for the first day. So Thursday, I'll have an article out with a pick for each and every single game Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, at the network here, we're running back the first half unders for every first round game, including the one starting tonight. So make sure you play those as well. I like some madness in March.
You ask me who's going to win between the Hawthorne Hawks and the Carleton Blues in Aussie Rules football this weekend. I can tell you, you ask me even one team that is in the college basketball bracket. I don't know. I don't know anybody that's playing this weekend. Don't care. That's how I am about it. But for the company,
get in the contest anyways.
Yeah, for the company's sake, you guys should do that. I'm just, it's just not my thing. Basketball is not my thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is our thing, NASCAR. Yeah, hats off to Josh Berry winning in Las Vegas. Hats off to the other winners out there. Eric Almirola won in the Xfinity Series. Corey Heim winning in the Truck Series. So, a couple of good. Look, overall, I thought the racing was great in Las Vegas. I thought there was a lot of great racing out there and some finishes that we can't really complain about as NASCAR fans.
Yeah, I think Sunday we had a really good race. It came down to strategy kind of a lot at the end and things falling at the right time. But, we didn't hit any of our outrights. Obviously, we didn't have Josh Berry, but you felt like the Chastain 24-1, that, by race day was down to 12-1. Another good reason to get in early on stuff like that. He had a shot there at the end. He was in the top 3 for a bit. Larson had a bet on him once again. He was the best car all day, hands down, no question about it. But the strategy kind of got in on them. Hamlin at one point, you like how he pitted early, but then the caution came out, so it kind of nullified his strategy, which sunk that one. But the Gragson top 10 was crashing until he hit the wall late. But we had a wild day, loose tires and tires falling off and just some crazy stuff happening. So, and then, of course, Xfinity Series always delivers. We had a great battle there at the end with Almirola running down Justin Allgaier. I'm going to guess that you said the wrong person won.
I sure did. I should have known. You know what it was?
Say?
Listen, I said Almirola won, but that's just because my head was going
in
back
our hearts. Almirola ran him down and won.
No, Justin Allgaier held him off.
It was, yeah. Rod taking away a win from a JRM guy. You don't see that very often. But, it was. And then Heim time, of course, the number bet was, once again, the way to go in the Truck Series. Might have to put that away this weekend because Kyle Larson is running triple duty. He's going to be in all 3 races. We don't have odds for Xfinity or Trucks yet. We will later in the week, so check in with us for those shows. But certainly going to entertain a Kyle Larson sweep parlay, although he's going to be a heavy favorite in all 3 races. But it might be worth it enough. Certainly could Kyle Larson certainly could be sweeping the weekend, or he could rack in all 3 races because that's how he drives. But
that's true, though. Full disclosure, too, by the way, and for Dirty Reg, I don't know that I've ever seen him in the chat before, so welcome in. But
he was with us last week and came back this week. So
that's right. There you go. He was the first week. See, full disclosure, last week I was on my Army weekend, so I consumed 9 hours of racing on Sunday. I watched all of the races on Sunday and the F1 race that night.
Oh, so, F1. Boy, we got F1 this week. We got IndyCar this week. We got all 3 NASCAR series this week, Rod. Oh, buddy. We'll have on that later in the week, hopefully. But one way or the other, we will. But Yeah, I know it's tough for you to keep up on everything for the Army weekends, so we'll cut you a break there.
Oh, thank God, because I tell you what, and then in the middle of it, I turned a whole year older, so all of the memory stuff that's supposed, the dump that comes with the new year, that's exactly what happened in my brain. It was like, and dump. So, and you did too, by the way. So, happy birthday.
Rod's getting his AARP card now, and I'm finally old enough to drink. So here we are.
Waiting for that AARP card. You know how many discounts that thing's going to get me? I'm going to walk in the door like a freaking baller. I'm going to be like, bam, over 55, give me my 25% off. Just let's go. That's me. All right. Let's get you set for some racing at Homestead-Miami, which is, by the way, obviously a new time and a new place. Well, not new place, but a new time.
It's new but old.
True.
We used to run it here in the spring.
Yep. And now we're running it in the spring again, not in October. We're running it in April, in March.
Should we just start over?
I almost feel like this
Hopefully
show,
nobody's listening yet, and we'll just hit record.
This is the warm-up to what's been going on. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Yes, so we are running it in March. It is 267 laps around this 1.5 mile paved track, back-to-back mile and a halfers. Definitely something we haven't seen in a very
they're mile and a halves, yeah, and we'll pull some stats from other mile and a halves because you sort of have to, right? Just because but Homestead is really its own mile and a half. It's different in the way it races, a worn out surface, which provides great racing. Go back to that race last year in the fall here. Reddick kind of snagging the win, stealing it late, cashing tickets for us, getting to that championship race. But yeah, this is a very exciting track, and I'm really excited because they've moved it back to the spring, and we believe the reason they've done it is because we get this race out of the way now in March, and they'll have a year and a half to remodel, redo things, and hopefully reintroduce it next year as the championship race once again in the fall. So hopefully this springtime is just a one-time, moved it up so we can do some construction, do some whatever. Don't touch the track because the track's perfect, but amenities and other things, right? Fan experience stuff. So I'm excited that hopefully it sounds like maybe we're going to get to that rotational championship where it's somewhere different each year, and we get Homestead back in the mix, hopefully starting next year.
God, that would be so nice, because this definitely, like you said, is one of the more entertaining tracks on the schedule, especially from all the different lines that you can run. John wants to know if I already have Alzheimer's. I couldn't tell you if I did. I honestly wouldn't remember if I did or not.
Well, I think that's how that works.
Exactly. Again, 267 laps around this 1.5-mile paved track, 400 miles at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Looking at all the same major players across the board. No real big major,
JJ Yaley's entered in the 44 car. That's not even really worth talking about. So we already spent too much time on it, Rod.
We sure as hell did. But again, some good racing to be had and some exciting action. So far, I think we've had really a great start to this season as far as entertainment value and just
I was listening to Door Bumper Clear a little bit ago, and they brought up I think it was them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was there. Sometimes the shows run together, them or Denny's show, but they brought up the point, like, is this the most competitive that the Cup Series has ever been? I mean, is there just as many guys who could win any given? And they were talking about like qualifying times, like if you were within 2/10, I think it was, of the pole sitter yet last week, you were starting 23rd place. And just the amount of guys any given week, and really we saw that out of Barry this past week, and even like Suarez running up there late. Preece again looked good. Like, there are just so many non-typical names that you would consider could win any given week that clearly can. Now, some strategy comes into it, yes, but Barry still held on for how long over the course of the end of that race, right? And there was passing throughout the day, so it wasn't impossible. Obviously, track position mattered because you saw Larson and Byron get stuck back there, not able to make their way up. But it's so wide open right now, and there are so many competitive teams. And even at the bottom of the board, there's not a lot of bad teams like we've had before, which just has made it so exciting. And I think we're really in a peak of NASCAR racing for what it is for this generation, right? We're never going to recreate the 80s or 90s. I get it. It's different. But what we're getting today, I think, is great. And I think it's going to continue to get better as we go forward and they continue to learn this car as it has so far. We've had all these winners the last couple of seasons, which has been great. And clearly we might continue to get that with guys like Josh Berry finding their way to victory lane on a non-wild card track where you wouldn't think 100-1 would win the race.
Yeah, and again, I think these alliances are starting to have something to do with that too. I mean, obviously, we know that Barry very heavily under the Penske banner, and so that plays a long way into being him.
It was Harrison Burton. I mean,
well, yeah, okay, I get it, but I mean, listen, I've always defended Josh Berry. I don't even feel like I need to be out that his Xfinity Series. I bled JRM and I bled Josh Berry. So, yeah, just happy for him, happy for the sport as a whole, happy to be going to another track that we can handicap, that we don't have to spin a wheel or throw up our shoulders and say, we don't know what's going on. It's just going to be a nice way to settle back in to our routine. Speaking of settling back into routines, let's do that. But first, I would like to tell you about DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Madness, one thing is for sure. Nothing is for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen, but bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbooks. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Look, I've talked about it already. You know I love me some Aussie rules football. I know a lot of you guys are going to be using it on College Madness, that are on the March Madness stuff. That's fine and all well, but look, when you've got Hawthorne taking on Carleton, when you've got Collingwood taking on Western, this just gets my blood flowing. I would definitely go over to DraftKings right now. They've got great opportunities for you to use it on Aussie rules football. So please go do that as you see fit, or you can use it on March Madness. I'm not your boss. Whatever. Do what you want. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bet expires 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.co/audio. Let's tell you about Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're all invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4-watch party Wednesday, March the 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas, and it gets even better. Rhythm is giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win the futures bet. Rhythm's March Madness stats and success from 2024 with UConn winning. Our percentage of winners was 39% higher than in ESPN brackets as a whole. Rhythm had 34% of brackets. ESPN had 24.7% of brackets. Rhythm predicted Duquesne, NC State, and Oakland upsets. 45% of Rhythm brackets had NC State reaching the Sweet 16. A free party plus a chance at $250 future bet when you sign up with Rhythm. Hell yeah. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/PARTY. Party. There'll be a party in Miami this weekend as all 3 series hit. But of course, we are here to talk about the Cup Series. Cody, I think it is time to start setting up some bets for this Straight Talk Wilders 400.
I think you're correct, Rod. And I've got a couple of matchups that I really like this week. So I'm going to start with Chris Buescher, matched up with Brad Keselowski once again. Of course, you know which side of this I'm taking, and it's Chris Buescher because that's the side I always take. Look, he let us down a little bit last week. I took him off the car lift this week. He'll probably find his way back on it very soon again in the future. And we're still going to find ways to bet on him this week. He still made the card in a couple of ways, including this. But this just simply comes down to, like I've said many times before, when you get Chris Buescher matched up with Brad Keselowski, Buescher is clearly the better of the 2 teammates right now. More times than not, it goes Buescher's direction. And Buescher is great anywhere and everywhere. Now, Brad has had some really good runs here at this track, certainly over his career. But like most places, it's sort of tailed off the last couple of years and not been as good as it once was in the heyday of the Penske 2 car. And so they've been matched up, of course. So we only have 3 races really in the next gen. The previous couple of weeks, Vegas, Phoenix, we had 6 races to look back on. But here we've only got 3 because we only come to Homestead once a year, which bit of a crime, but that's all right. Maybe we'll get back to 2 dates eventually here. But you only got 3 races to look at in the next gen era. So looking at those 3, Buescher is 2 for 3 over Brad, and the 2 are the last 2 actually here. So when Buescher's really come out of his shell and become the Buescher we know today. Last year, if you go back to the 1.5 mile tracks, 4 out of the last 5 last year, 4-1 for Chris Buescher over Brad Keselowski. So I'm going to just continue to ride this matchup any chance that I get. Give me Chris Buescher over Brad Keselowski at -115. DraftKings, you just read the promo for them, Rod, a great partner of ours. They're offering AJ Allmendinger over Carson Hocevar +115. This one is interesting because I love Carson, and I've made a lot of cases for him lately, and I think that he's going to have a great day this week. But he's -160 over AJ Allmendinger, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, AJ Allmendinger's in the Kaulig equipment, and look what that's been. But really, it's not been that bad. We see Ty Dillon kind of have some good runs here and there. Like Xfinity Series, it sucks. I'm done touching Christian Eckes. I'm sorry I've even talked about him at all this year. But in the Cup Series, for what it is, maybe they sort of figured some stuff out. But more so than that, AJ Allmendinger has 3 starts here in the next gen era, and they've all 3 been in Kaulig 16 car. They've all 3 been inside of the top 8 where he's finished. He finished 8th place last year. Hocevar was 9th in his 1 career start here, so still a good run, right? But AJ still got the best of him there. 5th place here in 23, 3rd place finish here in 2022. In the fall, in the playoffs, like everything going on, and AJ was just having these good runs in Kaulig equipment, which a bit surprising, but you love to see it, and AJ just seems to have this track figured out. So, if these guys were -115 either side, I don't know that I could really pick a side. There is a bit of fear betting on AJ just because it is a Kaulig car, but he's gotten it done, which you like to see. And really, if you go back even farther, in the 3 starts previous to that in JTG equipment, 19th, 14th, 8th place, like pretty good runs there. If you go back to his first 3 career starts with Gillette Evernham, I don't know if you remember like the end of Evernham going away and merging with RP, he finished 11th. And then in 2 starts, he had a 10th and a 5th place finish in Richard Petty Motorsports in the 43 car. That was not good in any way, shape, or form, especially in those days. So he's been really good at this track. That's what I like about it. And DraftKings giving us +115. This matchup was just too good for me to pass up on. So give me AJ Allmendinger over Mr. Carson Hocevar at +115.
I love that one, especially. I got more to say about AJ Allmendinger in a little bit, but I will say right now, I'm out on Carson Hocevar. Don't care. I don't care what he does for the rest of the season. I'm out on him. I'm out.
No,
but he didn't do anything.
Wrong.
He didn't do anything last week when he was supposed to. So we keep waiting for him.
Was he supposed to last week? What do you mean we keep waiting for him? He finished 2nd in Atlanta. He finished top 13th at Coda. He's had some great runs.
That's not enough for me. I don't care. You know why? Because you guys didn't listen to me about Ty Gibbs.
Stop making me argue stop making me argue for the guy I'm betting against, Rod. Jeez.
I'm just saying I'm out. You guys waited for me to come around on Ty Gibbs. I came around. He let me down. I'm not even going to make that mistake with Carson Hocevar. So we're done. I am divorced from Carson Hocevar, but I'm not divorced on Kyle Busch yet. ESPN giving us Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace in a matchup. We're getting Kyle Busch even money against Bubba Wallace in this matchup. Now, last week, Kyle Busch had a very miserable day and did not get around his home track very well, finished behind Bubba Wallace. But on this particular track, Bubba Wallace, his average finish, 19th place. He did have one 6th place finish in 2023, but outside of that, 18th, 22nd, 13th, 34th, 21st. I mean, and we're talking Kyle Busch. Now, granted, his last year was not that great. He had 31st place finish last year in the fall. Last year, and then 18th again in 2023. But before that, 9th, 10th, 6th, 1st, 4th, 2nd, 6th, 1st, 7th, 4th. He's got 11 top 10 finishes in 20 starts. Bubba's going to have to finish inside of the top 10, which he's only done once in his career on this track. I think if he's going to beat Kyle Busch this week. Kyle Busch, I mean, after a pretty, I don't want to say impressive start for him over the course of the last few weeks, but I will say that it was great only to have it kind of turn south last week. And I think he needs to refine what he had in the beginning of the season when he was running up front. And I think this is a good opportunity for him to do that because, again, he does like this track. This is a track that he's been semi-successful in. Of course, last year or the last 2 years have been kind of a rough, but we talked about last year was rough because that was already at the end of the season when there was nothing left for Kyle Busch to really run for. He had already had a crap year. The only thing that he needed to do was win a race, right, to keep a streak going. And that pressure, we talked about it, mounted on him as the season progressed, and his finishes kind of got worse as the year went on because he was pushing so hard for it. And then the year before that was, the first year in the 8. And so got to take that with a grain of salt as well. So if we're on for a Kyle Busch get right race, I think this is the opportunity for him to do it. And I think that he's going to finish better than Bubba Wallace. Like I said, just one of those things where Bubba just doesn't really run well on this track, short of the 6th place finish that he had a couple of years ago. JDK, I know, was high on Hocevar over there in the Discord, and that's the one that I just can't stay away from. Somebody said Carson Hocevar is cooking, and I said, if whatever's Carson Hocevar is cooking, I want it out of the kitchen. I don't want to be in that kitchen at all. JDK saying he'll take Bubba over KFB all day. But why?
Wait,
here have not been
Bubba looked really good last week. We saw a bit of that old 1.5 mile stuff we'd seen from him before. Obviously, he got caught up in a wreck later on and ruined his day, but looked like he had some speed last week, which you definitely like out of that 2311 camp and Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I think Kyle Busch, too good of a driver to ignore on this particular track. So, all right, Cody, where are we going next?
Next up for me, Rod, I've got some top 10s. I got some top 5s loaded here, still refreshing the books, waiting for official numbers. So I'm going to jump down the road, hit some of these other bets, hopefully come back with some real numbers on those ones. So we're going to go over DraftKings once again. They were providing us some good stuff this week. They've got Group B over there. Christopher Bell is 2-1. Now, when I opened this group up and I saw Christopher Bell's name at the top, I really expected to see Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick. And instead, I saw Christopher Bell matched up against Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain. And I just thought to myself, wow, Bell is like one of the favorites on some of the books. You're getting a little bit more value in some other places we're going to talk about in a little bit. But this doesn't feel like the right place for him to be matched up. So it's only 2-1, but I think that's a great for this group. I think that he's clearly the best of these guys. Now, that being said, Denny Hamlin can have a good run any given week, right? Chase Elliott is very consistent, and Chastain pops up a lot as well. But Christopher Bell, we know, right? 3 wins in the last 4 races. Last week, had to really fight through some shit. Has to go to the back to start the race. Had some adversity throughout the race. Kept fighting back. Looked fast. Had to settle for a 13th place finish. But I think we're going to see more from Bell this week. You come to Homestead, we typically see dirt track drivers do better at Homestead. This is a track where car handling comes into play a lot. You're kind of slipping and sliding. You're ripping the fence, which is another dirt car thing that they do a lot, right? Kyle Larson, and we'll talk about this in a bit when we get to the outrights. Kyle Larson, really, really fucking good. Like, it's amazing how good he is. Tyler Reddick, this fall winner, really, really good here. Christopher Bell, he is really good here as a dirt track guy as well. 4th place finish here last year, and he won the 2023 race. So the last 2 here have been really good for Christopher Bell. I think that he's in the wrong group. Maybe they placed him in the wrong group. Maybe they didn't mean to. I don't know. But give me Christopher Bell to win Group B over on DraftKings. Plus 200 over Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain.
Indeed. I have more to say about Bell later on in the show as well. So I will save my comments for that. But I definitely agree with you on Christopher Bell's potential to beat all of those guys. And I love it. All right. Well, then I'm going to move on to a guy that we already talked about. When I said I had more to talk about him, I have more to talk about. AJ Allmendinger, my Spirit driver. There are 2 drivers with an average finish of 5.3, and they are the top of the charts when it comes to average finishes in the next gen era here at Homestead. One is AJ Allmendinger. The other is Christopher Bell, tied for first at 5.3 average finish position. Look, we don't have the odds yet for AJ Allmendinger to be a top 5 car, but I'm going to hammer that number, whatever it's at, because I guarantee you right now, his top 3 number is at plus 1750 over on, I believe it's Hard Rock. So if his top 3 number is at plus 1750, then you got to figure that his top 5 number is probably going to be somewhere in the, I don't know, 750 to 800 range. So I mean, listen, if it's somewhere in that vicinity, 8, I would probably estimate about 8, maybe plus 750 to 800 for his top 5 number. So I definitely think that's way too much for a guy whose average finish is 5.3. Cody read off his finishes already in the 3 next gen era starts, 3rd, 5th, 8th. 2 of those were in the top 5. You're going to overlook AJ Allmendinger because that's just the kind of driver he is on 1.5-mile tracks. You just don't pay attention to him until he's beating you over the head on road courses. But for some reason, Homestead is a great race for him. And of course, we talked about it too. These are all in playoff situations. So when you're running with these playoff drivers and you're one of the top 5, normally you're mixed in with 3, if not all 4 of the playoff guys and trying to scrap for a position like that. So, I mean, look, I'll take his top 10 number all damn day. Like if that's like 300 or plus 350, somewhere in that one. If you get me an AJ Allmendinger top 10 number, I would definitely go with that as well, because that's really great value. And the top 5 is just even more to look into, because for me, AJ Allmendinger, it's just so crazy to see his name up here with guys like Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, right? These guys with great average finishes on this particular track, because I love AJ Allmendinger. And so give me AJ Allmendinger, top 5, whatever the number is. And then, again, if you want a top 10 number, I'll take that one, whatever the number is as well.
Yeah, I think top 10 is what I would really like to get on AJ. Again, as we're speaking here, we don't have the numbers just yet, but yeah, it's surprising how good he is here. And AJ Allmendinger has been a guy over the years, whether it was last year when he was running part-time, whether it's been previous seasons when he's running full-time. He's solid everywhere because he's just a veteran guy. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it long enough. But on the certain tracks where he does kind of step up, that's where he steps up. Like Homestead last year, you look back at the 2 previous years and like, he's been pretty good here, but he's part-time. He's not running. He's not winning on the road courses. Xfinity start. Doesn't matter. Still did it again. Got another good finish. And so, yeah, I think that's what you're just going to kind of continue to expect from AJ. And when you get the opportunities to get in on him, like this week, I think that this is the appropriate time. So, yeah, I like your top 5. And like you said, I think top 10 as well is going to really be a place you can get in and get a good number on him.
Indeed. Make sure you check the Discord, and we will drop those numbers to you as soon as they get there. And hopefully they are here when we get here.
We're holding out hope that they're going to be dropping any second, Rod. They usually drop them right before we go live. So, again, maybe they're listening to us and laughing at us right now in their office. But hopefully they'll drop before we're done recording.
I know. Like I said, I think they know. They're like 5 o'clock Eastern. Nope, that's when the NASCAR Gambling Podcast is recording, so we can't do that. So, all right, we'll come back with some more bets and some more numbers for you. But let me tell you first about Underdog. It's time for my Underdog bonus pick'em. Underdog pick'em. You can play any sport and win up to $100K. It's never too early to think about football season, and they have football season long projections up on Underdog Fantasy. I am looking at Derrick Henry. His rushing total is projected at 1,249.5 yards. Holy hell, give me the higher than. Are you kidding me? Look, it's already the fact that he's with the triple option over there in Baltimore. You got to love that. But King Henry has been higher in 2 of the last 3 seasons. And really, he's only been lower than this on years where he's been hurt or just underutilized, like in Tennessee a couple of years ago when he only got 1,167 yards on 280 carries. But before that, like I said, 1921 last year, a couple of years before that, 1538. Remember that 2,000-yard season? Oh, yeah, 1540. Definitely great years for the King, Derrick Henry. So give me his higher than 12,000 or 1,249.5 rushing yards on the season. You can find that over on Underdog right now. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. SGPN is partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cash back rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money's safe as the card is FDIC insured. And the best part, no credit check, and it's completely free. Sign up for Edge Boost and enter our free $2,000 bracket contest at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket. When you talk as much as we do, sometimes the words just start to fall out of your mouth before you even know what you're saying. So
that's why I like to write some stuff down, Rod, which I'll be doing with those NFL season-long projections over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That article also coming out soon, so make sure you stay tuned.
Beautiful. I love that. And yes, if Henry is not on your list, then he needs to be very quickly. 12:49.5 does not seem like
it does. I think that's one of those things where it's like if you want to take the worst, then you're like trying to call your shot on him, running out of steam and retiring early. Surprised you're not on that because that's what you like to do with race car drivers. But yeah, I think that Henry is going to continue to just be the Derrick Henry that he's been.
Isn't it weird? I have this thing against over 30 race car drivers, but over 30 running backs, I love them so much. I want to like carry them in my arms and say, it's okay to be okay. You can keep rushing for 1,200 yards.
Whatever works, Rod, whatever works.
All right, Cody, where are we going next?
Well, next up, Rod. That's right. Welcome to Cody's Car Lift. We're again running it a little. The show's all out of whack today. Running a little earlier than normal, but that's okay. Chris Buescher the last 2 weeks paid off for us 2 weeks ago. Not so much last week. That happens. This week, going with a little bit of a longer shot, smaller car lift. But I am calling my shot on Noah Gragson. I love Noah Gragson this week. I think that we're probably going to catch his top 10. I'm going to say it's going to be around 6-1 or so. But again, we'll update that when it comes out. I don't care what it is because I'm going to take it anyways. I'm going to take his top 10 at the number we're given. Top 4 at 25-1 and 150-1 to win this race. 150-1 to win. We just saw a 100-1 winner last week. Is it going to happen back-to-back weeks? Probably not. Kyle Larson's probably going to win now because that's how it works, right? But we just saw that we have guys capable in this field of doing so. Now, you look at Noah Gragson, 2 starts here in the Cup Series, and you're thinking, why do you like him? So that's what I'm here to tell you about, right? 2022, he made a start here in the number 48 car, filling in for Alex Bowman. When I don't remember, that was the one at the end of that wasn't his back. I think that was a concussion deal maybe for Bowman, where he kind of missed the end of the season. Either way, Gragson was the JRM guy at the time. He was the relief guy, stepped in, 25th place, not really that impressive. Last season, 19th place, again, not that impressive. That was in the 10 car, SHR, their third to last race of ever existing. Like, take it for what it is. Okay, fine. But let's look at the Xfinity Series and what Noah Gragson has done here in 2019. Noah Gragson, never heard of him. We didn't know who he was. Led 10 laps, finished 4th place. All right, who's this kid, right? 2020, again, don't really know who this kid is. Leads 83 laps. Okay, like it. Finishes in 3rd place. Good, strong run. 2020, so they came here twice in 2020, actually, because of COVID. They were, hitting places they could twice. So led 81 laps in the other race, finished 5th place here. That's when he started to be like, all right, who is this Noah Gragson kid, right? 2021. Just a rocket ship of a car, had some issues, but fought back, took the lead, 34 laps. We're in the closing laps. I've got a lot of money on him because he's looked good here. I'm all aboard the Noah Gragson train. I, like he does to the end of the race, holding my breath already, ready to throw up. And David fucking Starr in his piece of shit number 13 Whataburger car got in the fucking way as a lapper, destroyed Gragson, ruined his day. It's a bad finish, but he was by far and above the best car that day. Comes back in 2022, sweeps both stages, leads 127 laps, wins the race. Ty Gibbs at the peak of Ty Gibbs Xfinity in that race. Didn't matter. Couldn't keep up with Noah Gragson. I'm all aboard the Noah Gragson train this week. we were on it last week, and it was looking so good. The top 10 was going to cash. He was in play. He had a good car, looked good. Blows the tire, hits the wall. There's not much you can do about that. That's just how it goes sometimes. So I'm staying all in on Noah Gragson. He's this week's car of the week.
Okay. I don't hate Gragson. I don't know. To me, like,
We're not convinced, Rod.
I'm not convinced. But listen, you gotta take these where they come. And for Noah Gragson, he'll scratch away. He's still a talented enough driver to get it done. You're right. He's had success at this track. So I feel like for him, I'll take him more than I'll take Hocevar. Let's put it that way. I feel more comfortable with Gragson than I do with Hocevar. That 4 car does look racy on a week-to-week basis, so I'm with you. I told you I'm not hopping off of the Josh Berry train. I'm not hopping off the Josh Berry train. Can't find any of his top 5s or top 10 numbers, so not going to hit that one. But I will say, if you want to get in on him, a top Ford plus 850. Holy cow. This is crazy. Top 850 for the guy that just won the race last week. I mean, look, Josh Berry has only got one start on this track in the next gen era. That was an 11th place finish last year. And that's all fine and well, right? I mean, that's not going to get you top. Well, listen, to be honest with you, the Fords aren't necessarily all that great in this race altogether. So on this track, they don't qualify well. In fact, I was kind of looking for a qualifying bet as far as how many Fords would be qualified inside of the top 10, but the number was so nuked I didn't even want to do it. But look, Josh Berry last year, Ryan Blaney was the top Ford in second place, but Josh Berry right behind Ryan Preece for the third Ford in line ahead of Chase Briscoe. I mean, he finished in front of guys like Buescher. He finished in front of the guys like Keselowski, who was his new teammate, or not his new teammate. That's the next guy I'm going to talk about. But yeah, Josh Berry finishing in front of those guys all over the place. And then when you look at the 2023 race, as far as the Fords were concerned, it was Ryan Blaney again, the top Ford, but the next one, Joey Logano after that, Eric Almirola after that in the 10, and then Kevin Harvick in the 2023 race where that was his last race ever outside of the top 10 in that one. So, I mean, there was only 3 Fords rather inside of the top 10. This is not really a difficult thing for a guy as hot as Berry. 4th place finish a couple weeks ago. He won the race last week. So he's on a hot streak on these intermediate tracks, right? I know Phoenix is a mile, but even still 4th place there, winning last week. Really, really solid job for Josh Berry. I don't know that I really want to take the top finishing positions because I think in some cases, if Blaney kind of has a bad day again, if Logano has a bad day, then I may think 6th could be good enough for the top Ford. When you look at all the Chevys that are probably going to run well and the Toyotas are going to run well. So give me Josh Berry plus 850 to repeat as the top Ford. And then the guy that kind of surprised you, jumping out of the woodwork, finishing 3rd last week, and that was Ryan Preece. Holy cow. I'm going to take his top Ford number at plus 1,400. So 14-1 for him to be the top Ford. I just said he finished 10th last year, right? Just outside, and he was the third Ford on the board. So that to me already says, hey, look, and that was last year in SHR equipment that he wasn't all that great at. Now he's in RFK equipment, which, I mean, we tout Chris Buescher all the time. We tout Brad Keselowski, but he beat them both last week.
I don't know that there's I mean, Berry, Berry probably should be the one, but I don't know if there's a driver that's impressed me more this year than Chris Buescher, or not Chris Buescher. Sorry. Chris Buescher always on the mind, Rod. I don't know if there's a driver that's impressed me more this year than Ryan Preece, because Berry, we sort of had some expectations. Like, you thought he's going to be like, I really didn't think that Preece was going to be good at all. Like, I kept talking about RFK in the offseason and how much I love Buescher, how much I love Brad, but I just wasn't on board with Preece. And it's early. It's not react too much, but I've been impressed with what we've seen the last couple of weeks. Berry, he's been the top finisher Ford the last 2 races, so hard to argue too much with that. And I'm certainly not going to argue against Berry at this point in time, Rob.
Yeah, especially at the numbers, plus 850 for that to happen. I mean, 3 times in a row, we're like, oh, nothing like that ever happens 3 times in a row. Ask Christopher Bell what happens 3 times in a row. You win races.
Right. That's right. Ash checking in from across the pond says, evening, lads. Bowman again for the top 10 finish when the odds get released. Xfinity odds just came out on Bovada and Caesars. Larson is minus 135 is the outright. What do we think he'll be for the trucks? I really think that I would be pretty surprised if he's not minus 200 when the Truck Series race opens. And we'll dive into more when we talk about tomorrow, hopefully about trucks and Xfinity. We'll dive more into him at those prices. But this really, like, think back of all those years where we had Kyle Busch go into race weekends and just win all 3 series and sweep the weekend. And that like how often that happened during that time of him dominating all 3 series is crazy, because it happened a lot. Really, Kyle Larson should be the best car, hands down, in all 3 of these races. He should win all 3. That's why I had brought up betting him to, the parlay of all 3, although, again, we'll see what number we get on that. But I would not be surprised in any way, shape, or form if Larson doesn't win all 3 of these. And he should be, he should wipe the field in the trucks. He should wipe the field in Xfinity. And he should be the best car in the Cup Series. But we know how these races go, and that's not always the case. So going to be plenty to talk about in those series for sure. All right, Rod, next up for me, speaking of the Alex Bowman top 10, we're going to get this around even money, maybe a minus 120 or so when the numbers come out. Doesn't matter. Don't care. Give me the Alex Bowman top 10 because we play it every week and it cashes more than it doesn't. And Chris Buescher, talked about him already. I think based on where his number is, I think we're going to get closer to plus 150, 175 for his top 10. I'm back on the Buescher train once again for the top 10 this week. Also, Caesars does have him listed. If you're not comfortable with the top 10, they've got him listed at 15.5 for his finishing position. The better than side or the under is minus 115. So I love that, because then you're just basically betting him to finish inside of the top 15. So these bets make the card often, and they've been on here the last couple of weeks, and there's a reason for that. And I'm just going to continue to play them. Bowman top 10, Buescher top 10, and the Buescher better than 15.5. Again, don't have top 10 numbers as we're recording this, but when they do come out, we know they're going to be somewhere in this range. I would play the Bowman one up to minus 120, 125. I probably wouldn't go much farther than that. But the Buescher one, I expect to be plus money, and I'm certainly in on it if that's the case.
Yeah, what's crazy is that they just put out the finishing positions on Caesars too. So get in on those. There's only a few of them up there right now, but hopefully as the card progresses, we'll get some more and we'll be able to drop them into the Discord as well. One number that is out that I am going to definitely look into very heavily is the Christopher Bell top 3 plus 260 over on Caesars. This is just another track that he runs well at. Again, like I said, he's tied for first with AJ Allmendinger in average finishing positions. Our friends over at iFantasy Race has got the NASCAR next gen averages here at Homestead, the heat chart for it all. And like I said, it's him and it's AJ Allmendinger, 11th place in 2022, but he won this race in 2023 and finished 4th in 2024. So 2 top 5 finishes in the last 2 races here overall. It's just, Christopher Bell, he's hot right now. He kind of didn't have the day that he wanted in Las Vegas, but he still ended up rallying back for a good finish in that one as well. 12th place overall for Christopher Bell, but boy, that was not his day was not a 12th place day overall with everything that was going on around him. So good on him to just claw his way back into the top 15. But again, this is a guy that's been red hot over the last few weeks, and I think for him to get back into the top 3 on this particular track that he's just so damn good at, it's not far-fetched to think of, and I think you're getting a right price for it. So you talked about him to win Group B over Hamlin, Elliott, and Chastain, and I think to do that, he's going to have to finish inside of the top 5, if not the top 3. So I'm definitely eyeballing his top 3, especially at almost 3-1 at plus 260. So it's going to be Christopher Bell at plus 260 to finish inside the top 3.
Yeah, no argument here. I think that's a good number for what you're getting with him, and it's Christopher Bell. It's again hard to argue against him too much right now. Somebody else I think it's a little hard to argue against currently is William Byron. I'm going to take his top 5. Again, number's not out. Hate to keep saying this, and it sucks, but I think it's going to be around minus 110. You might get a little bit of plus money. So we took this last week, cashed for us. He had the second best car on the day. Really, he did. It was Larson, and it was him. And we see this from Byron consistently early in the season. Guess what? Last time we had a spring race here at Homestead, you know who led 102 laps and won the race? That's right. it was William Byron. But even the last couple of seasons, and that was the old car because it was 2021, but the last 3 races we've been here, 12th place in 22, but then 4th and 6th in the last 2 runnings here. Great finishes. 4th place finish last week. Again, he got that done, continues to get it done. 6 top finishes in a row on 1.5 or 2 miles if you toss in Michigan there. So he's been inside of the top 6 on these 1.5 tracks. 6 rate, and really it's 5 out of 6 in the top 5, and then Homestead is the 6th place last year. So he's been killing it on the 1.5. He kills it early in the season. He's been good on this track. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Going to go back to the William Byron well. Again, I think that'll probably be around -110 or so when it comes out. Ryan Preece, top 10. I am going to project this. We're just projecting things now, right? I'm going to project this around 7-1 or so. But you just made all the cases that really we need for Ryan Preece. He, with the top 4 bet, he has been really fucking impressive. And you love what you've seen. Then you go back and you look last year in Stewart-Haas with a couple of races left in the season, them going away. I kind of made that a bad point for Gregson a little bit ago. He finished 10th place here in the fall race. Then in 2023, he finished 13th place. So in a lesser car where he kind of struggled, didn't have great finishes, 13th and 10th. Now you're in this much more elite RFK equipment, it seems, and he's started off the way he has. This is the part of the season where momentum means a lot. What have you done for me lately means a lot. He can continue to carry this forward. If you can get this at 6-1, 7-1 range for a guy who just did it last year, was close 2 years ago, now is in a better car, better situation, and has been performing better. I really do like Ryan Preece this week. Again, as scary as those words seem to sound as they come out of my mouth. But yeah, JDK had a top 5 on him last week. At Vegas was a great hit. That boy, yeah, I probably would have not made that bet. So shout out to you for having that, but been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Ryan Preece. And I think we're going to get a good number on his top 10 here.
You know, with William Byron, what's crazy is that obviously we talk about him being good early in the season, him being good on this track. Well, now that this track is earlier in the season for him, that even kind of gets it better for you. He's not worrying about playoffs as far as this is concerned. This is just him going out and running well on a track that he's running well at to try to get to the playoffs. So I simply love that pick. And then, of course, you know that I love Ryan Preece because I gave him out as a top Ford. And if he finishes anywhere near where you want him to finish, I think that's going to end up being good for him to cash your bet as well. All right. I'm going to go back to my winning car number ways, and I'm going to give an even number as the winning car number. And look, I know Kyle Larson is odd. I get that. And I know that this is probably going to be one of those weekends where just because the books are all over him, right? They've got him at plus 400 in some cases, whatever. But, and then Denny Hamlin's up there as well. Tyler Reddick is up there as well. But I think, you know, Christopher Bell obviously is one of the bigger names on there that you're kind of looking at and got circled. I know that Kyle Busch, I just talked him up a little bit earlier, but another guy that I'm giving out that I'm really heavy on right now is on an even number at 12. And so there's a lot of William Byron, again, is an even number to be able to get up there. Alex Bowman, if you think that he's going to do good things. So there's a lot of good drivers that are really good at this particular track that are even a number drivers, a la Ryan Blaney, like I said, the 12 car, William Byron in the 24. So to me, I'm kind of taking my chances on the fact that you're getting plus money on a good side of this one. So give me even car number at plus 105.
Yeah, I have 4 outrights this weekend. 3 of the 4 even number cars. So I guess I'll have to agree with you.
Beautiful stuff. Speaking of outrights, Cody.
Speaking of outrights, of course, we talked a little bit ago about the Noah Gragson 150-1 as part of the car lift. But I waffled back and forth. You probably to the dock a couple different times. I had a few different names in here. I was deciding on guys, kind of changing my mind. I wanted to go with Larson again this week. He should be the best car, but betting on him the last 3 weeks in a row has reminded me why it's hard to bet on Kyle Larson, because he was the best car last week and he should have won the race, but he didn't. And it's going to be the same story again this week. If he wins all 3 of these races, I won't be shocked. But then if he also is doing really well and runs into the tire barriers and blows up the sand everywhere, like that's the other side that you get. He's so good at these tracks and he's so talented that sometimes he crosses that line and it costs him time and time again. That's what makes him tough to bet on him. So if you want to bet on Kyle Larson, I'm not telling you not to. Maybe this is the week you should, since I'm not. But I'm going to go to his teammate, William Byron. Talked about him a minute ago with the top 5. But plus 750 over on FanDuel. I really like William Byron. This lines up so perfectly for Byron. He, by the way, snapped my streak last week of one and done plays. I played him at Las Vegas. Nice, but he finished 4th place. Good 4th place run. And my first finishing one and done pick of the year. So appreciate him for that. But I talked about it. He's been in the mix on all the mile and a halves we've had recently. And he's really strong to start the beginning of the season each and every year. He had a fast car last week. I think we're going to see that again. He's the most recent. Last time we had this race in the spring, William Byron won it, led 102 laps that day. He's finished well here lately. So give me William Byron at plus 750. Christopher Bell at 11-1. I think this number is just too good to pass up on Bell. He won this race just 2 seasons ago, back in 2023. Of course, it was in the fall at that point in time, but 4th place here last year. He's a dirt track guy, which again, I think does come into play a lot here. He was had a fast car again last week. They had their struggles, had their share of adversity, fought through it for a decent finish, especially after starting shotgun on the field. But Christopher Bell, 11-1, FanDuel, I think is worth the bet. And then Chris Buescher, 48-1. If you're giving me Chris Buescher at this big of a number, I don't care where it is. I'm going to continue to bet him every single week. He disappointed last week, yes. The 2 previous weeks, though, Coda, he was really good for us. Phoenix, he was really good for us. If you get Chris Buescher at this type of number, it was surprising to see Josh Berry jump up and win that race last week. But that shows us, hey, this can be opened up to more. Yes, Kyle Larson dominated on the day. Looked good. I think he swept the stages. Doesn't get the victory at the end of the day. Chris Buescher is the type of guy that puts himself in the right spot, and he's so good on any given track, any given week. You should not be getting this big of a number on him. And I will, if you give me this number on him every race the rest of the season, I will continue to bet it every single time. And you're going to hit it once or twice because he's going to find his way to victory lane. So I'm not going to miss out on Chris Buescher long shot at 48-1.
I think that's the only real good place to take him because he can either win this race or he can just finish in the top 15. So.
I like the top. I like the top 10 and the finishing position still because he's consistent. And I think that's why he can win anywhere is because he is consistent week to week, and he's not generally the fastest car. You don't see that every once in a while. You'll get a Bristol type of race where, well, even in that Bristol race, Brad was the better car and messed up, and Buescher won. But he's consistent, and he's going to kind of just be hanging out, which worked pretty well for Barry last week. And certainly he's in contention always. And I think that's what's going to lead to him winning eventually.
Is this the Xfinity episode? I feel like we
are disagreeing a lot for the Cup Series, which we generally tend to do in the Xfinity Series episodes. So yeah, I guess this is a good teaser if you like us arguing and not agreeing on things. Good teaser for you to listen to the Xfinity Series show tomorrow because we'll likely disagree as we often do.
Yes, we do. All right. Well, then, my outright, FanDuel, man, serving up some fantastic outright numbers. So I'm loving this. Ryan Blaney, you can find him on some books at like plus 350, plus 400 for an outright. Not on FanDuel, plus 700, 7-1 for Ryan Blaney. That's huge.
Big difference.
Yeah, huge. You want to talk about how fast Ryan Blaney is around this track? He is first in next-gen speed rankings in Homestead since 2022. He ranked 7th in overall speed in 2022, 2nd in overall speed in 2023, and 1st in 2024. I mean, look, he hasn't really pulled away and won one here yet, but I will say that this season has been so frustrating for Ryan Blaney. The last 3 weeks have been an absolute just horrendous time for Ryan Blaney. So, I mean, it's got to get turned around, right? This 12 team is too good to stay down for this long. And if you look at his overall speed rankings on these high wear intermediate tracks, thanks to our friends over at iFantasy Race, Ryan Blaney ranks 5th, but really dragging him down is the Auto Club 2023 race where he was 24th overall in speed. But after that, Darlington in 2023, the first race there, he was 9th overall in speed. Darlington 2, 9th overall in speed. Homestead in 2023, he was 2nd overall in speed. Like I said, Darlington again, 6th overall. And then Homestead, he was 1st overall last year. So, I mean, we're talking top 5 in overall speed in these high wear tires. He's 1st overall in the speed rankings in there. And I mean, 2 second place finishes, right? He's finished 2nd here in 2024 and 2nd in 2023. And the only thing throwing off his average finish is that 17th place finish in 2022. But like I said, this 12 car, way too good. This 12 team, way too good to be 7-1 to win a race that he's finished 2nd at over the last couple of years. He's going to punch through. And I think it may be this year. And at 7-1, I'll take that chance.
Yeah, he's been really good here. And again, the price difference that you're getting, like you mentioned, plus 350, some places 7-1 on others. Sometimes just the value you're getting in placing that bet early in the week, even if it doesn't play off, eventually those types of things, getting enough value in places does pay off. And Ryan Blaney's a guy you can never count out. Sure, it's been a rough 2 weeks for him, but that's the type of driver that snaps back and makes you pay for it right after that because he uses that to fuel him. And it said at the beginning of the season, there's not going to be any Ryan Blaney disrespect from me this year. So I am not going to argue with you on that one.
Well, and let's look at it this way too. In the fall, he was racing for a championship. Now he's not. Now he's just racing to race. And that may take a lot of the pressure off of this 12 team because they just want to get out there and they want to put a good race together. And I mean, for that could end up in a win. So I'm sorry if I'm pulling up a lot of old stats, but and there may be outdated stats. And if you lose faith in me because I'm giving you Ryan Blaney at 7-1, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He could crash out in the 3rd lap of the race, and then none of these hit. But whatever. That's the risk we run, right?
That's right.
All right.
Gamble.
Might as well gamble. Get out your pen and paper. It is time to go over our bets for Homestead for this Straight Talk Wireless 400. I started you out with Kyle Busch over Bubba Wallace at even money, giving you AJ Allmendinger top 5. Still number on that, but whatever it's at, I don't care. It doesn't even matter to me. Take that Allmendinger top 5 number wherever it's at. I'm giving you Josh Berry to repeat as the top Ford at plus 850. And Ryan Preece also is sort of a long shot top Ford at 14-1. I'll give you Christopher Bell as a top 3 car at plus 260. I'll give you the winning car number as even at plus 105. And Ryan Blaney to finally find his way into the winner's circle this year at 7-1. And Cody gave you Chris Buescher over Brad Keselowski at minus 115. He also tossed in AJ Allmendinger over Carson Hocevar at plus 115. He gave you William Byron as a top 5 and Ryan Preece as a top 10. Again, no numbers on that yet, but wherever they're at, he can definitely back those up. And then he gave you Christopher Bell to win Group B over on DraftKings, over Elliott, over Hamlin, and over Chastain. And then he is riding the Bowman top 10 as well as the Buescher top 10, wherever those numbers are at, and taking Buescher under 15.5 for his finishing position at minus 115. He is riding the Gragson car lift. He's giving you the top 10 at 6-1, maybe. The top Ford at 25-1 and 150 to win. He's also calling William Byron the winner at plus 750, Christopher Bell at 11-1, and Chris Buescher at 48-1 to win this race. There it is, Cody. Again, I know people are like, well, why don't you just wait then until you get the numbers for this? 2 reasons. One, we know people get settled into a schedule and they love to listen to podcasts when they listen to them. And when we put them out at a set time, I've noticed the spike is there. People like to listen when it's fresh. And also because if we waited, then we'd be waiting for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And it's not how we roll.
Yeah. It's a tough position for us to be put in because generally they're out by now. We've scheduled the show at the same time each and every single week, almost for the most part, right? Occasionally we'll have scheduling conflicts, but yeah, it sucks that they're not out. But we also, we've guessed in the past and we're pretty close on it. You get the point of the bet, right? And if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know where the line can kind of be drawn. We tried to kind of give you the range we thought it was going to be at. Of course, join the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can jump in there. Rod and I are very active in there. We'll respond to questions. When we do see official numbers, we'll drop those plays officially over there. So again, another great place to be in there. Plus, guys have already been making bets all week. Race day, my goodness, we had guys calling Barry out on race day, placing those bets, cashing big on those tickets on Sunday. So it's a great place to be in the conversation during the race, the live betting if you've got that option where you are. A lot of talk about that. So good plug for the Discord, but that's why it's there.
It is indeed why it is there, for us to continue the conversation. And we will do that as we let you go to start filling out your cards for Homestead-Miami. So Cody, in the meantime, as we send everyone away, remind everyone where they can find you outside of Discord and outside of this.
Yeah, follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. That's where I got you covered with all sorts of stuff. NASCAR stuff, had some high limit stuff there last week with underdog talk, F1, IndyCar, college basketball. Like I mentioned, I'm going to have that article out tomorrow. It'll cover every single game that's on Thursday for the first round of the tournament, NFL stuff, arena football stuff, keeping it busy over there. So follow me at Husker_Zeeb. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Click that subscribe button, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Check out the back road, Seth and Elliott holding down for you the Homestead-Miami race this week on the In Between Media YouTube channel. So go check that out. And just keep up with us on Discord. Have some fun. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with Xfinity and trucks, or we'll see you with some DFS. We're not sure yet. We'll figure that one out when we get there. But until then, let's go racing and let it ride.